Hello chaps and chapettes, and welcome to this slightly later than normal double back monthly for April 2017. So what is a double back monthly? Well, it's a video that I set up primarily for my patrons, but you don't have to be a Patreon to watch this video. No, you don't. This video is just a recap of all the things that I've done in April, starting with the next section, which will be the games that I've reviewed and the podcast that I've done with Berkey and Badger. After that, there's my first impression section, the first of the last, followed by a question and answer section, so you guys can write questions to me and I will answer them eventually. And then there's the final section, which is the actual prize draw for those guys that backed on the Patreon. Yes, a prize draw. So without further ado, let's point at the camera. So what games have I reviewed in April? Well, not very many, I'm sorry to say. Unfortunately, Player 4 is giving us lots of hassle, especially my wife. She's having a terrible trouble with Player 4 at the moment, and Player 4 hasn't even arrived at the table to play any games, and it has put a lot of disruption in the family. So I apologize. The quantity of work that I've been putting out has not been much, and probably will continue for another month. Hopefully soon afterwards things will return to normal. Talking about normal, normally I put a video here of the games that I've reviewed, and then you can click on it and it takes you to the video so you can watch it in depth. But I can't do that very soon due to the fact that Google is stopping, well, YouTube is stopping the annotations, which is the system that they use for big things on screen that you can click. Yeah, they got the card system, so there'll be a little bubble up the top and that will take you to the video. Or you can look in the show notes and that will also take you to the video as well. So, without further ado, what did I review? I did review Royals, which is a set collection card game which you use the cards to influence nobles around Europe and get points that way. And you get points by having the most controlling countries. You get the points for getting someone in each of the cities in a country. You get points for this, that, and the other. Lots of ways of scoring. It's a very simple game. It's very family friendly. It's very, very quick. It doesn't play very well with 2 players, but it's definitely a 3, 4, 5 player game where you can just go at it with each other. You think that at the beginning of the game that the game is, you know, I'll work in this corner, and this corner, but you'll soon find out that everyone will start treading on each other's toes. It's a very enjoyable game, very Ticket to Ride and New York 1901 style. I like this game quite a bit. It's not on par with those types of games, but I gave it an 8.5 all the same. And another game that I reviewed is Goblins, Drool and Fairies Rule. Thank you very much, Elephant Girl, for this. One of my patrons, she sent me this game which she knew I wanted to try, and we tried it quite a few times actually, and kind of enjoyed it, but at the same time kind of fell flat after a while. It was the same taste. It's a very small card game, again very family, children orientated card game where you'll have some cards and they will be goblins, and you want to get rid of the goblins and just have fairies or no cards at all to win the game. And you'll be doing this by placing a card into the middle of the table, and there'll be a pool of fairies or goblins in the middle, and they all have names. And if your card rhymes with any of the cards in the middle, they get flipped over. And then also you get to collect cards if they match the symbol. And so this system is very, very ingenious system of playing a card into the middle and then flipping some cards over and then collecting some other cards to try and get a collection or get rid of all your cards entirely. Really nice idea. As I said, it falls very flat, it falls repetitively, and again, it doesn't play very well with 2 players. It's better with more players as the game becomes increasingly hard because the restriction of cards actually in the game make it very hard to play. So again, I gave this a 7 out of 10. It's a great idea, some nice bits about it, but there are some bummers about it as well. I also did 2 podcasts with my counterpart Berkey over in the States. The Berkey and Badger Board Game Babble Show did an episode called It's Alive with game designers Ben Chichowski and Dan Mendel. Yes, I remembered. They've just designed a game for Gutshot Games called Headhunters, which is coming soon on Kickstarter, so look out for that. Very interesting episode where we talked about, the design process and when a designer actually decides this is the time the game is ready to be put out there. The other episode was D&D is the Daddy, which is a look at dungeon crawling games, where they came from. And we talked to Alessandro Pra from Horrible Games because they have a game on Kickstarter right now called Alone, which is a dungeon crawling game, but with a great difference. Where one player is playing the hero and the other players are playing the evil villains. Go and check that out. It looks really, really gorgeous. But in the show, we talked about Dungeons and Dragons, and we talked about dungeon crawling games and what our favorite dungeon crawling games are. Do you have a favorite dungeon crawling game? Write it down. Let me know. Maybe I should try it out. Tell me which ones I should try out. This is my first and last section, which is basically a first impressions section where I will talk to you about a game that I played for the first time. And it might be the last time that I play the game because it was that bad, or it didn't interest me, or it just it seemed like I've already got a game like it and I prefer that game in my collection. So I'm going to start off by talking about this game called Clash of Rage. Well, actually, I'm not going to talk to you about Clash of Rage because I've just finished doing a Kickstarter video, and you're going to have to wait until the Kickstarter comes out, which is the 17th of May, to hear if this is a game that you're going to like as well. First, my first impressions of the game are pretty good. Let's just say that for now. Another game that I got to play for the first time is called Batman the Board Game. Yeah, you're probably going, yeah, okay. This is a prototype, a very early prototype of a new game from Frédéric Henry. And if you want to find out more about that, I've actually done a video for that, and you can go and check that out now. There should be a little bubble which pops up and tells you, click on this video. Another game that I played for the first time was a game that my daughter bought. She bought it when we went to the game store, our local game store, and the author was there, Nicolas Sato was there, and he was signing copies, so this is a signed copy to my daughter. And this is a light style card game where players will have identical decks of armies, and there'll be 2 battlefields between them, and each player will be taking a turn to play one of their army cards on one of these fields. Well, there'd be more than 2, there'd be 4. Now we only played a 2-player version of the game. It does play up to 4 players, so it means that you're going to have 4 battlefields, but you're going to have 2 with the player on the left and 2 with the player on the right, and none with the one sat opposite you. These army cards have different powers. Some will eliminate, there's an assassin which will eliminate a card on the field of your choice. There's the spy which will go into your player's side of the field and will count towards them, but it gives you a special power as well. It's very light, it's very quick playing. There's enough replayability in this box to play many times, and I said different player counts, it would probably be a really enjoyable game because you're not just protecting your face, you're protecting your ass as well, yeah, so to speak. As I said, I played against my daughter, so the challenge wasn't that great, and I was able to win quite easily by quite a big landslide, but it was quite an enjoyable, very light kind of, area control, figure out, bluffing game, which I kind of liked. So I'm going to try and play this a bit more in future because it is really nice and it's quite enjoyable. And another game that I got to play for the first time, which I can't see, I'll read it down. Yeah. Is Word on the Street. Now, I'm not the kind of person that likes word games. I'm not very eloquent with my vocabulary. very limited, and also I have this kind of phonetic spelling of words. But Word on the Street is a word game, and it's a party style game, which is good because then you can get on the same side as other idiots of your kind of caliber and try and find out what the best word is. In the middle of the table there's a board, and it has a select amount of letters, and what will happen is a card will be revealed. It's a 2-team game. A card will be revealed with a subject, and each team will have to come up with a word, the biggest word with the most letters, obviously, to move these letters towards themselves. So if you spell a word and there's a letter, it moves 1 space towards you. If it's got 2 of that letter in the word, it moves 2 spaces towards you. If it comes off the board, you've actually won that as a point, and it's the team that get 4 or 5 points first which wins the game. It is really enjoyable. We played it about 3 times, 4 times afterwards as well because we enjoyed it so much. And again, I played it in French, and I still enjoyed it. I was able to come up with some really big words because there's some really big words in English which are really big words in French, and I kind of like shocked all the other players with these really, really good words. It is a nice party style, light, fun game. It did play pretty quickly. It played in less than half an hour. And as I said, we played about 3-4 games in one go before we played something really big like Royals, I think it was. Yeah, we played Royals. But yeah, Word on the Street, a really enjoyable game. This is one that I would probably want to get and play a lot with, because again, I could actually play with my English family, even though I'd have to like translate what the words are on the cards. So there you go. That's my first and last impressions. Games and films. Are they the same thing? Well, they're both forms of entertainment, and they take us to another place, which is one thing that I will say. One is interactive, where the other one is passive, which is 2 different sides of things. Again, a film is something that if you go to the cinema, you will pay one price and you'll get an admission fee, and you'll go in and watch the film once. Whereas a board game, you'll pay a large fee, or maybe a small fee, and you will play the game and maybe play it again, and maybe play it again, and maybe play it again, and maybe play it again. So I don't know if you know this, but you probably feel that I'm going to go onto a rant, and I am going to go onto a rant. Because there are some reviews, video reviews that I've seen on YouTube, which make me go really angry. Because there are reviews which treat the review as if it was a film review and not a game review. Now, what is this I'm talking about? Well, as I said, when you go to a cinema, you're paying one price. You're paying $6-7, €6-7, whatever, to sit down, watch a film, have an experience, and either like that experience or not like that experience. So why is it that when I watch some video reviews, I feel like I'm watching a video review about a film that someone's seen at the cinema? Yeah, there are plenty of film critics which do this. What films just come out, they go to see it. Angry Joe, he does a great job. There's some other ones, Jonah Jar, he does a great job as well. He does lots of cutting and stuff like this, which is really impressionable. But a board game is not a film. You're not going to pay €5-6 to play a game and either like it or hate it and go away. You're going to buy a game and it's going to cost you €60-70. And it's going to sit on your shelf, maybe for many, many years. You may play it once or twice. You may play it 15 times. You may play it 50 times. So why are we getting a review which is just a one-shot first impressions review and not a board game review itself? Some reviews you can tell that they've only played the game once and they didn't like it. And they don't even go into any explanation of how the game plays or why it was bad. They just didn't like it. That is not a review. That is more of a first impression. That is more of a personal first impression. Now, it's not bad when it's some small-time reviewer like myself that does that, because that's not going to affect the market. But when you have some reputable board game reviewers who review a game and you know that they've only played it once, and you know it's not their type of game, and you know that they don't like it because they tell you they don't like it, that can have a big influence on the market, and has done. I've heard stories from games companies that say, well, the game was selling well until so-and-so reviewed it, and then sales just dropped 50%. And then when you watch the review and you analyze the review and you go, well, yeah, they talked about this and that, but why didn't they like that? It was because they didn't like that. Now, that's not something that I try to do. I try to give you, the viewer, an overall of the game, so you know how the game plays, and also you can understand these mechanics and how they interact, and you can kind of feel why a game is going to be good for you or not. And some of these reviewers just say, well, the minis were good, but I didn't like the game because it was just rolling dice. That is not a review. That is a personal opinion. Again, there are 3 categories that I would class myself into when I play a game. If I am teaching a game to someone, I have a different head-on than I have when I am learning a game from someone. And I would have a completely different head-on from when I play a game with people that know the game like I know the game, and we're going head-to-head for it. That's 3 different feelings, that's 3 different sensations that I will have while playing a game. So when I'm teaching, I've got my rules head on, I'm making sure that all the other players are doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're not cheating, I'm answering questions, can I do this, can I do that? Because I've read the rules, I know how the game plays, I've even got my strategy, what I'm going to do. And that's what it's like when I teach a game. When I'm learning a game from someone for the first time, it is a case of, I'm the one with the questions. All right, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that. And maybe also when I'm learning the rules, I am in my head, I'm going, all right, I could probably do that as a strategy, or I could do that as a strategy. And then when I play the game, it's different to how I'd play it if I was teaching it, because it feels more open. Whereas I've read the rules, I know where the game's going. Whereas if I'm learning the rules from someone, the world is an open oyster. When I'm playing a game that I love and I know the rules with people that love and know the rules to the game, it's a totally different sensation to both of those 2 that I've just explained. And that is the point where I decide that this is a game that I need to review. It's not the I'm teaching this game, and it's not the I'm learning this game. That's first impressions. Playing a game several times and knowing the game inside out, in essence. I mean, there's some games that I don't know inside out and don't have good strategies for. But playing the game and seeing all its facets and feeling all its theme and playing it as the designer intended it and not, just how you think they meant it to play. That is when I decide that a board game review needs to be done. And it hurts me to think that there's someone out there that puts a lot of love and passion into making a game. And because someone doesn't like it because the theme gins against their skin, or they didn't like the fact that it was an auction game and they don't like auction games, it's a really sad state of affairs. If one person can say, well, I didn't like this game because it's an auction game and I didn't like auction games, and then thousands of people say, right, I'm not going to buy it then. That kind of hurts the market. That kind of just like stamping down on good compositions. There you go, music and films. They are other things. You will, with a board game, you'll have your first impression, and you either like it or not. And you'll play it again, or you won't play it again. With music or a film, personally for me, if there's a film that I don't like, there's a possibility that I'll watch it again, if enough people talk about it. Because sometimes in a film, there is hidden information, there are character developments, there are things that will intrigue you. There are films like 2001 I never used to like. I just watched it because it was spaceships and it interested me, but I couldn't get the gist of the story. Whereas something like Total Recall, after one watch at the cinema, I figured out the story. I'd figured it all out in my head, and my friends were the confused ones, and I was like, yeah, this is a great film. I have to watch it again. Naked Gun is a film that you have to watch again to see all the jokes. But going back to 2001, there was something about it which intrigued me. I didn't enjoy the film because I couldn't understand it, but it was just nice to look at. But the more I watched it, the more I fell in love. And sometimes that happens with games. And for people to say to you, this game is rubbish because it's just a minis game with dice. No. There's more to it than that. Music's the same. I'll buy a CD. I've invested money in a CD. I will play that CD, even if I only like 2 tracks on that. Because eventually, in a week, in a year, I will like all of those tracks. There will be something in them that I can pick out and go, yeah, I like this track. The melody is not interesting, but the way that the arrangement of that sound, all of those things make a good piece of music. It's the same with a good game. A good game will have something in it which will intrigue you, and you go, yeah, this bit's boring. The deck shuffling and the card drafting, but this bit's really good. I like this bit. So, where am I going with this? Well, I just want to do a warning, basically. Please be careful when you watch a video review about a board game, because some of them are totally subjected to the person and not open-minded for the game. I try to be open-minded for the game because it's someone's creation, and there's things about board gaming which I love, and little bits and pieces, and the clever interweaving of mechanics and theme. Again, I gave a bad review for Goblins, Fairies, Drool, but there's so many good aspects about the game that someone will find appealing, and I pointed them out, and I said, this is good because of this, and this is good because of this, but I didn't like the game. So, as a warning, please be careful who you listen to. Know their background, okay? Because some reviewers get 1,000 games a day, and they have to pump out these reviews, and so they will probably play them only once, and then tell you what their first impressions are, and they'll class it as a review. So, as I said, be careful, because there are a lot of great games out there. You just need to find out which is the game for you, and hopefully watching other people's videos, as well as my own, will point you in the right direction, whether it's a game that should sat proudly on your shelf, a game that should be sat proudly on your shelf and not be in the store. And again, save that money for those games which are going to do you the best. I think that's a good one. So now we get to the giveaway part. Yes, if you're a Patreon backer and you've backed above the $5 level limit, take it to the limit one more time. Yes, you get your chance to have your name put in the hat. Well, actually, in Pumbaa's mouth. And I will draw a name out, and you'll win a copy of Last Night. Yes, a digital downloadable copy of Last Night, my CD soundtrack. Or you can go and just buy it if you want anywhere that you want, iTunes and Amazon and all those kind of places. Hey, Pumbaa.
Hey, I thought you just smelled bad on the outside.
Yeah, I thought so too. So, like I say, thank you to all my Patreons. Elephant Girl, David, Kevin, Olivier, and Andrew. Thank you very much for your continued support. It means that so much to me, especially in this time of stress. And I'd like to apologize to you guys as well. Sorry about the delays and sorry about the quantity of stuff, but hopefully in another month's time things will iron out nicely when player 4 arrives. Okay, so let's do a drum roll and let's put my hand in his mouth. I shuffle it about and draw out a name. What do we have? We have a piece of paper which I was going to throw in the bin. And we have one winner, Olivier. Très bien. Felicitations. That's the word I was looking for. Olivier, I will be sending you a copy of last night. And again, all my other Patreon backers, I will be sending your stuff in the post as soon as I possibly can. And it's going to be a bit delayed, but it'll be with you soon. I'll also be setting up a different new kind of pledge level that you can go to. It'll be my 3 for 2, and I'll be giving away 3 promo cards of your choice for $10. So look out for that. I need to get on and start posting that up soon. So all that remains for me to do is say thank you very much for watching, everyone. Hope you're enjoying yourselves, and hopefully I'll be a little less stressed next time I chat with you. Again, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask me, put something in the comment. It's been great. I'll see you soon. End credits. Wouldn't it be good to now please? Oh, no, they're not going yet. Oh,
Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board games, I don't know how many. Just like they do